Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be reacting to Olivia Swing. Let me go ahead and show you her name right over here. Oh, geez, I zoomed in way too fast. There you go. Olivia Swing. Israel is tearing the right apart and no one is noticing it. Yeah, we are in the Great Awakening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Great Awakening. And I'm not going to lie to you. I am both happy to be alive at this time period. Simultaneously, I'm extremely worried because with great power comes great responsibility, is the saying from Spider-Man, right? Well, let me just go ahead and tell you that Israel has a massive amount of power with no responsibility. These maniacs are willing to kill their own people. They are also willing to use nuclear bomb on people they do not consider the chosen, that they consider cattle, and that's you and me. If you're not a chosen, the chosen people. Anyway, that's enough monologue. If you like this video, ladies and gentlemen, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. And with that being said, let's get it.
Picture this. You're an average American, and one day at church, your pastor tells you that God is commanding America to support Israel unconditionally. But wait, aren't church and state supposed to be separate? Oh, but then you find out your congressman just voted to send billions of dollars overseas, while your own town has bridges falling apart and people literally living on the street. And when you ask why, when you just ask the question, you get called anti-Semitic. That's exactly what's happening to the most loyal voices in MAGA right now. They're asking why Israel comes before Americans, and they're getting destroyed for it. Trump unendorsed Marjorie Taylor Greene, the woman who defended him through impeachments, through January 6th, through everything. She called what's happening in Gaza.
Yeah, I just want you guys to remember that there's no loyalty when it comes to both, celebrities, and also when it comes to politics, there's no loyalty. These people know secret about each other, and trust me, they hate each other's gut.
Genocide, he dropped her. Candace Owens questioned support for Israel. Well, she got fired. Tucker Carlson said maybe we shouldn't send billions to a country of 9 million people while Americans are struggling. He got canceled. These are the voices that built MAGA, and they're being expelled for asking one question. Why are we unconditionally supporting Israel? And then there's you, the person who thought you were voting for America first. Do you want to know how deep this really goes? Bibi Netanyahu addressed Congress and got 58 standing ovations. By the way, that's more than any American president in history. So to put this very simply, your representatives gave this foreign leader 58 standing ovations.
Look at him. Look at this guy. This is the face of evil that we are looking at, guys. I mean, like, you can't. Isn't it amazing how this thing right here is still walking around like God, do your thing, please. Like, take him out. You know what I mean? Like, just get rid of him. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes this guy. You know, nobody. I'm not even trying to like exaggerate. Nobody likes him. I really like people. You know what we need to do? Okay, put your biases aside. Let's unite under one banner. Okay, we all hate this dude right here. Let's be honest, okay? We all hate him. So you know what we need to do? We need to pray to God, okay? The one true God. And say, God, please, take this guy out, okay? Just take him out.
Ovations. And this is tearing the right apart. One side says it's biblical, the other side says we were betrayed. And by the end of this video, you're going to truly understand how Israel and its influence is tearing the right apart. Okay, so let's start with what nobody can deny. Israel has unprecedented influence over American politics.
America and Israel must stand together.
Look, I told you that Netanyahu had 58 standing ovations from both Democrats and Republicans, but what I didn't tell you is the absolutely insane thing he said.
And if Israel's hands are tied, America is next.
And listen to how he frames it. America's survival depends on Israel. Let that sink in, okay? A country of 9 million people telling a country of 350 million with an entire ocean between us that we need them to survive. Right. And here's what else I need you to see.
Well, you see, let me tell you guys something, okay? What he's saying is 100% true. America, without Israel, America will no longer be here. And the reason I say that is for one reason and one reason alone. These maniacs literally have America under their thumb. I guarantee you they have the secret code to the nuclear weapon in America. So this is what I'm trying to say. They have the Samson option. And with the Samson option, he's all the way in the Middle East. Clearly, they're not going to go ahead and send a nuclear bomb from there all the way to here. So, how else do you think America is going to fall? People like to listen to this and be like, he's lying. Oh, they actually need us to survive. When truth of the matter is, what he's saying, you have to listen to this guy and take his word very, very serious. It's not because he knows that, oh, they're the only one that's stopping the T's from actually attacking them. No. He knows that if they fall, they are going to take down America with it. And by the way they do that is with the Samson option.
Politicians from both parties making pilgrimages to the Western Wall in Jerusalem. They're touching the wall, praying, performing rituals for a foreign nation.
Our prayer is that America will always stand with Israel. That's what Scripture tells us to do. It's a matter of faith for us and a commitment that we have.
Like, what? Making policy decisions that previous administrations avoided for decades because they knew how explosive they'd be. Moving our embassy to Jerusalem, recognizing Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights, and we're not just talking about symbolic gestures. Israel is the #1 recipient of US foreign aid by a massive margin, okay? Massive.
Egypt is next? Look at that.
Recipient of US foreign aid by a
damn, CC. Let him.
Massive margin, okay? Massive. And #2, well, that's Egypt, which we only fund because of our commitment to Israel. Since
Right.
Israel became a state in 1948, we've sent them over $300 billion. And in just the last 2 years alone, 30 billion. To put that in perspective, 300 billion.
No. Also keep this in mind, ladies and gentlemen. The money that we spend on weapon and war in the Middle East, yeah, that was not for the benefit of America. It was also benefit for Israel. So 300 billion plus the however much we spent on war for 20 years in Iraq and Iran, in Afghanistan and Iran. Put those together. And also all the countries that we destabilize around them. So literally, I'm telling you, we are literally in the trillions.
$1 could rebuild every structurally deficient bridge in America. It could fund healthcare for Americans. The same healthcare Israel already has, courtesy of us. But instead, we sent it to a foreign country. Yeah, but it's not just the money, no. Laws are being passed right now that criminalize criticism of the Israeli government under the guise of combating anti-Semitism.
That's right.
Think about that. Laws that make it illegal to criticize a foreign government.
That's right.
This is real. This is documented. This isn't conspiracy theory.
And then also any foreigners who is trying to come into the United States, they have to show their social media, 5-year history of social media. If they found any criticism of the state of Israel, they're not welcome to the United States. Hey, Americans. Yeah, you like to worry about Muslim taking over your country? Let that sink in. Guess what? Yeah, smart people who come from across sea to come into the United States to help build your infrastructure and actually better your country. If they say any bad stuff or any negative thing about the state of Israel, they're not welcome. I mean, let that sink in. You're worried about the Muslims. You're worried about the Mexicans. You're worried about everything and anything except for the special group of people who are literally making laws and making your life hell. And yet you're worried about Muslims in Dearborn, Michigan, who are living their life in peace.
This is American foreign policy. But here's the thing. Democrats support it, establishment Republicans support it, so there's basically a total bipartisan consensus of unwavering support for Israel. So why is MAGA so upset? And listen, if you're just now realizing how deep this influence goes, hit subscribe because we're about to go even deeper. Okay.
Please hit my subscribe too, okay? Please.
So if everyone in Washington agrees on this, why is this issue, of all issues, the one that's ripping MAGA apart? Well, because MAGA was different. Here's what people need to understand about the whole MAGA movement, okay? It brought together this wild coalition of people who normally wouldn't agree on anything at all. Truly. You know, you had libertarians, independents, centrists, constitutional conservatives, even former Bernie supporters. People from all over the political spectrum who were just fed up with the establishment. And here's the critical part. It brought together Zionists and non-Zionists. These people didn't agree on religion, they didn't agree on theology, they didn't even all agree on social issues, but they united around a few core things, right? You know, like ending the forever wars, securing the border, making housing affordable, draining the swamp, please, and maybe most importantly, putting America first. That was the deal. America first, not Israel first, no, not any other country first, America first. But now that coalition is fracturing because one group within MAGA, the Zionists, believes that supporting Israel isn't just good policy, it's not
Let me go ahead and just see some of the
MAGA, the Zionists.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yep. Okay.
Believes that supporting Israel isn't just good policy, it's not optional. It's a biblical mandate from God himself, actually. And everyone else in the coalition is going, wait, hold on, that is not what we signed up for. Here's the question we need to answer. What even is Zionism, and why do some Christians seem to care about it more than Jewish people do?
I'm not gonna lie to you, ladies and gentlemen. If you found out the history of Zionism, you as a Christian will be like, why the hell are we supporting these people? FYI, the founder of Zionism is an atheist, Theodore Herzl. He's a staunch atheist, don't believe in God whatsoever.
Okay, quick history lesson. I'm gonna
But the Bible tells you to support him. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
do my best with this. So Zionism is, the belief that Jewish people should have their own state. Well, it wasn't born from the Bible. It was born from politics. In the late 1800s, a guy named Theodor Herzl watched anti-Semitism explode across Europe, and he said, Jews need their own state. In 1897, he organized the first Zionist Congress. And problem, the place he picked, Palestine, already had 600,000 people living there.
She forgot the fact that Palestine wasn't even the first option. Yeah, that's how you know this wasn't even inspired by God. But the Bible tells you to support them.
In 1917, Britain made a promise. The Balfour Declaration. It was a letter to Lord Rothschild, you might have heard of that family before, saying Britain would support a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. Now, here's the wild part, okay? The guy who wrote it, Arthur Balfour, the same Arthur Balfour who 12 years earlier had passed Britain's Aliens Act, specifically to keep Jewish refugees out of Britain. So Balfour didn't want Jews in Britain, but he was happy to promise them someone else's land.
And a little bit of history behind that. And when the Balfour Declaration actually happened, the Jews weren't even happy with it. Why? Because they understood from the get-go that the reason he agreed to the Balfour Declaration is simply to get rid of the Jews. Some Jews were like, wait a minute, I belong here. I was born here. Why do I need to leave? Why do I feel like a foreigner in my own country? Again, people really don't know the history of it, man, but I'm learning a lot about it. And it's a very fascinating history, and it is built on nothing but theft and just bribery and immoral act. Let me just go ahead and put it that way. It was not a legitimate state, and it would never be a legitimate state. I do not recognize the state of Israel. I'm sorry, I don't.
In Palestine, where other people already lived. Oh, and Britain had already promised that same land to the Arabs and the French. Fast forward to 1948, Israel is declared a state. About 750,000 Palestinians are expelled, and the justification? Jewish people needed safety after the Holocaust, but Palestinians, who had nothing to do with the European genocide, they paid the price. So here's what matters. This wasn't a biblical mandate. This was political maneuvering by European powers. But that's political Zionism, and that's not even what's tearing MAGA apart, because there's actually another kind of Zionism, and this one is way, way more influential in American politics. Brace yourself, because this could be hard for you to hear. It might touch on something deeply personal. Your faith, your pastor, your church, and I promise you I am not here to attack your faith. I'm really not. But I'm asking you to listen with an open mind, because you deserve to know the full story. So
I'm not either. The reason I like to put a lot of emphasis on Christian is simply because you guys need to wake up to the reality that your religion has been hijacked from within. The people who you call leader, the people who you follow, the people who you sit there and listen to them while they're giving the sermon. Yeah, some of these people literally take money. They take blood money so they can feed you bullshit. And if you haven't came to the realization that that is happening, you will never, ever take back your country. Just recently, over 1,000 of them just made their way to the state of Israel and they came back.
what if I told you that a lot of what American evangelicals believe about Israel and end times prophecy was essentially inserted into Christianity through one book? In 1909, a guy named Cyrus Scofield published something called the Scofield Reference Bible. It was the King James Bible, but with Scofield's own commentary notes printed right alongside the actual scripture. And these notes taught something called dispensationalism, which is this idea that God has different plans for Jews versus Christians, and that the modern state of Israel plays a critical role in end times prophecy. Here's what Scofield wrote about Genesis 12:3, which is, I will bless them that bless thee and curse them that curseth thee. His note said,
yeah, see, that right there was talking about Abraham.
Has invariably fared ill with the people who have persecuted the Jew, well with those who have protected him. The future will still more remarkably prove this principle. Genesis 12:3 is about God's promise to Abraham, but Scofield applied it to how modern nations should treat the Jewish people, and by extension, the modern state of Israel, which didn't even exist yet in 1909. The Schofield Bible was published by Oxford University Press, and it was heavily marketed. It became the standard reference Bible in seminaries and churches across America, especially in the massive Southern Baptist Convention. It sold millions of copies. But here's where it gets even more interesting. After Schofield died, Oxford University Press kept revising his notes. In 1984, they published the new Schofield Study Bible and added this line: "For a nation to commit the sin of anti-Semitism brings inevitable judgment."
Dude. I was like, man, like, that's just crazy, dog. Like, this is how distorted the Bible has become. That's crazy.
They intensified the
Oh,
interpretation.
man.
They made it stronger. And then modern Christian Zionist leaders like John Hagee, who's the founder of Christians United for Israel, well, they took it even further, okay? Hagee says, "The man or nation that lifts a voice or a hand against Israel invites the wrath of God." Do you see the progression? Schofield started it, Oxford University Press amplified it after his death, and now megachurch pastors are preaching it as absolute biblical truth. Entire generations of Americans grew up believing these interpretations were basically as authoritative as scripture itself, as demonstrated by the infamous Ted Cruz and Tucker Carlson interview.
Where does my support for Israel come from? Number one, because biblically we are commanded to support Israel. But number two,
Hold on.
I'm not holding on.
Hold on. You're a senator, and now you're throwing out theology, and I am a Christian, and I am allowed to weigh in on this. We are commanded as Christians to support the government of Israel?
We are commanded to support Israel.
And there's evidence this was
He didn't even know where that was in the Bible. I mean,
isn't organic. Schofield had close relationships with wealthy financiers, specifically a Wall Street lawyer named Samuel Untermyer, who was a passionate Zionist. Some historians suggest Untermyer helped fund and promote Schofield's career, including his trips to Europe, where he connected with Oxford University Press. Whether that's true or not, the result is undeniable. Okay, American evangelical Christianity was fundamentally reshaped to support the idea that blessing Israel, meaning the modern political state, is a biblical mandate. And here's the uncomfortable part. A lot of theologians, including conservative Bible-believing scholars, call dispensationalism heresy. They say it's a complete distortion of what scripture actually teaches, but it's running rampant through megachurches in America.